Dear students, yesterday we discussed about graphs, what is meant by graph and graph terminologies, these all things. Today we discuss about representation of graphs. Generally, graph will be denoted with G and it contains two terminals or two sets. We call it as a V and E. V is a set of vertices and E is a set of edges. We can represent a graph in different ways. There we have three types of representations. One is called set representation. Means here the graph is represented in diagrammatical manner. So and we don't have any particular way of representation. We assumed that here we found four graphs which is represented in different ways. Okay, based on their edges and based on vertices, it is represented different ways. Means there is no proper structure to represent a graph. So just we draw one diagram and we'll process that one. Okay, so but this graph will be having the alternate way to represent instead of like this diagram. These are three things. One is called set representation, another one is called linked representation, or else we call it as adjacency list, and another one is called sequential or matrix representation. So it is important question. I think one or two times they asked for 10 marks question, representation of graphs. So first we represent about set representation. Set representation is nothing but it is a straightforward method. So already I said that graph is represented with two sets V and E. Same here only. So V is a set of vertices and E is a set of edges. So which is subset of V into V. So but if the graph is weighted, means the graph contains some weights. When you observe here, this fourth graph is having some weights like 7, 5, 2, 3, 1, 6, 8, like that. So graph is having some weight. So if the graph is having some weight, the set is ordered collection of three tuples. So E equal to W, V, V. So W is the weight. W is a weight. So already we have four graphs and these four graphs are represented with sets like V of G1 means the vertices of G1 is V1, V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7 that we represented, and edges of G1 like V1 to V2, V1 to V3, V2 to V4, V2 to V5, V3 to V6, V3 to V7. So edges wherever you found. So V1 to V2 we have, V1 to V3 we have, V2 to V4 we have, V2 to V5 we have, V3 to V6 and V3 to V7. Like this we represent it. And second graph is having vertices like V1 is V1. So V2, V3, V4, V5, V6, V7. And edges are V1 to V2, V1 to V3, V2 to V5, V3 to V4, V3 to V6, V3 to V6, V4 V6, and V4 to V7, V5 to V7, V6 to V7. Like that, different ways we can represent. When it comes to fourth graph, it is having weight. So in edges, along with vertices will represent weight also. Along with vertices will represent weight also. Okay. So this is set representation. Means the graph is represented with two sets like V and E. V is a set of vertices, E is a set of edges. If the graph contains the weight, then it will be represented in edges. Weight and starting vertex and ending vertex. Okay. So this is set representation. Another one is called linked representation. So linked representation, or else we call it as a adjacency list. So linked representation is another space saving way of graph representation. In this representation, we have two types of node structures. One is called node label and adjacency list. Another is called weight, node label and adjacency list. So once if you found any graph, it will be represented with link. One is node label, another one is called adjacency list. What is the next vertex? We have link. Another way of along with weight we can represent. Here we found one example. This is a graph, and from A to B we have. So A and adjacency list link to B. Okay. From B we go with D E. Okay, sorry. From A to B and A to C is there. So A to B and A to C. This is the link. Same for B. B to D is there and B to E is there. For C, C to D is there. For D, D to A is there. D to D is there. It is self loop. And D to E is there. And E, we don't have anything. So this is way of linked representation. So whatever the links we have, it will be represented. Means just adjacency list will representing. And in another way of representation, array. So assume it we have 5 cells of array. 0 cell is pointed to all the adjacent vertices to A. First cell is pointed to all the adjacent vertices to B. Second cell is pointed to all the adjacent vertices of C. And third cell is pointed to all the adjacent vertices of D. And fourth cell is pointed to all the adjacent vertices of E. So this is one way of linked representation. So linked representation is nothing but we found one array structure and cell is represented with node label, means vertex name, and then after this it pointed to all the adjacent vertices. Third one is, so here in linked representation the number of lists depend on the number of vertices. So here I created 5 cells array. Why? Because I am having 5 vertices. If I am having 10 vertices, then we need to go with 10 lists. Next, adjacency matrix. It is one of the way of representing the graph. So here the matrix is divided number of vertices into number of vertices. Here I found 5 vertices. So 5 by 5 matrix will create. Okay. And it's labeled with vertices. It's labeled with vertices. Here the matrix is filled if the particular vertex to particular vertex, if that is an adjacent vertex, then we'll fill it as a 1. Otherwise we'll fill it as a B. A to A, is it adjacent? No, 0. A to B, it's adjacent vertex, so link is there, edge is there, then 1. A to C, edge is there, then 1. A to D, edge is there, then 1. A to E, we don't have edge, then 0. Same like that, B to A, we have edge, then 1. Why? Because it is undirected. A to B is there, B to A is there. If it is a directed, means if it is a directed like this, if it is a direction is there, then B to A we don't have. But here we don't have any direction. So that's why A to B link is there and B to A also there. So 1. B to B we don't have. B to C we don't have. B to D link is there. B to E link is there. Same like that, C to A, yes we have. C to B we don't have. C to C we don't have. C to D, yes we have. C to E we don't have. So if you don't have any edge, then we'll fill it as a 0. If you have edge, then we'll fill it as a 1. Same for D also. D to A we have. D to B we have. D to C we have. D to D also we have. Why? Because there's a self loop. And D to E also we have. Same for E. E to A we don't have. E to B, yes we have. E to C we don't have. E to D we have, E to D we don't have. So this is adjacency matrix representation. Here we have another type of representation of matrix, that is called incidence matrix. So, and if it is a directed graph, it is like this. Incidence matrix. Here, instead of representing 0 or 1, here we will represent with -1 and 1, 0. How we are representing -1? When you are going to represent 0, when you are going to 1, here we will discuss. So in this matrix, rows represent the vertices and the columns represents edges. That's the difference. So in the above matrix, rows and columns both are represented with vertices, but here edges. This matrix is filled with either 0 or 1 or -1. Here 0 represents row edge is not connected to column vertex. 1 represents row edge is connected as outgoing edge, as a outgoing edge to column vertex. And -1 is represented row edge is connected as incoming edge. So if connected with incoming edge, it will be represented -1. Connected with outgoing edge, it is represented with 1. Connected, we don't have any connection, then it is represented 0. So here we go with an example. So I define the edges. This one is E1 and this one is E2, this one is E3, this one is E4, this one is E5, E6, E7, E8. Edges I define. So edges is there and vertices is there. A to E1, A to E1. Edge is A is related to E1 edge. Yes. In or out? Out. So one represents row edge is connected as outgoing edge. Here it is outgoing edge, so we represented 1. Next E2 edge. E2 edge is here. So A, is it connected with E2 edge? Yes, and it is also out. So 1. A E3. E3 edge here. Here is A3. So is it connected with A is connected with edge E3? Yes, it is incoming. That's why represented -1. And it doesn't have connection with E4, E5, E6, E7, E8. Same for B with E1. Yes, but it is incoming. That's why -1. And it doesn't have any connection with E2, E3. E4. Yes, it is connected, but it is outgoing. That's why 1 represented. 0. E6. So B is connected with C. It is outgoing. That's why 1 represented. Remaining zeros. Like this, for incoming edges, it represented with -1. Outgoing edges represented with 1. If you don't have any link, then it is represented with 0. So this is about incident matrix representation. And these are the representations of graph only. So set representation, adjacency list representation, and matrix representation. Okay. So if they ask for 10 mark question, you need to explain with examples. Next one is operations on graphs. So like the operations which we discussed in other topics like insertion, deletion, merging, here also will represent, and traverse also here. So here insertion is nothing but we are adding one vertex which is already established graph. Deletion is nothing but we are deleting one vertex and deleting the edge also. Merging, so we need to merge two graphs. The travel means visit all the vertices in the given graph. For traveling, we found two types of methods and we will discuss later on about that one. Okay, so operations on linked list representation of graphs means the linked representation of graphs. Okay, so the graph is we are having with weight and it is having directed and undirected also, weighted and non-weighted also. Okay, just we go with an example. So this is way of linked representation of a graph, which is already be discussed. Now we go with insertion. So if you want to insert a vertex into the graph, the different steps involved are illustrated in figure 8.17 here. So it is an evidence that insertion procedure is different for the undirected graphs and the undirected, and the directed graph. So I want to insert V8. So here I inserted. It is not the thing here only you need to insert. You can insert anywhere. Just we'll add it. But here I created two edges for V1 to V8 and V8 to V4. And whatever I got, same will represent in linked list. So V8. So V1 is adjacent vertices and V4 is adjacent vertex. Okay. So it is about insertion. What I inserted here, it is represented additionally. And for directed graph, here it is a directed graph. I inserted V8. So only adjacent vertices, V8 for V1 only incoming. Okay. Next to traversal, here's one of the important concept, traveling methods. So maximum they will ask this question. So graph traveling methods. Earlier we discussed about three traveling methods like pre-order, in-order, post-order. Like that, graph also having two types of traveling methods. One is called, and this is a technique which is used to visit all the vertices in the given graph. So one is called depth first search, and one is called breadth first search. So we are having two types of traveling methods, DFS and BFS. DFS, which is using one data structure called stack, and BFS, which is using queue as a data structure to perform some operations. First we discuss about DFS. So generally at the time of traveling DFS, it generates a spanning tree as a result. It is nothing but spanning tree is nothing but the graph without any loops. So once you are traveling into a graph with the help of DFS, it produces a spanning tree. Okay, and here we are using stack data structure and with the maximum size of total number of vertices in the graph. Okay, so to visit all the vertices in DFS, we are using data structure as stack. Okay, and after visiting all the nodes in DFS, it generates a spanning tree. And here the steps to travel into a graph with the help of DFS. Should keep in mind of these steps. The first step is define a stack of size total number of vertices in the graph. If assume it, if I'm having 5 vertices, then you define a stack with 5 size of 5. Select any vertex as a starting point for the traversal and visit that vertex and push it into the stack. So assume it, if I'm having 5 vertices, among these 5 vertices we can choose any one vertex. We can choose any vertex and make it as a visited. Then visit any one of the adjacent vertex of the vertex which is at top of the stack, which is not visited, and push it into stack. So assume it, I visited vertex 1. So this is the point where I am going to start. Then I will push that vertex 1 into a stack. Then after, I will find the adjacent vertices to vertex V1. Assume it may be some V2, V4. Then among these V2, V4, we'll visit only one, either V2 or V4. If I visited V2, then I will visit it, I will push into a stack. Next step is repeat step 3 until there are no new vertex to the visit from the vertex on top of the stack. So it will be repetition process. So now I pushed V2, and then after I will find the adjacent vertices to V2. Some X is there. Like that, it will repeat the process. With the help of example, we'll go through that one. Next, step 5 is when there is no new vertex to be visited, then use backtracking and pop one vertex from the stack. So if I visited all the vertices in the graph, then we go with backtracking. Backtracking is nothing but coming back. Okay, so we'll come back one by one, means we'll pop the edges which is available on the graph, on the stack, one by one. Okay, so and once the stack becomes empty, then we'll produce the final spanning tree. Okay, so we'll go with one example. Here we consider the graph like A, B, C, D, E, F, G is there. So size of graph means number of vertices are 7. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. As per instructions, as per the step, the vertex which you are going to start, this one I am going to start, will keep it in stack. So select the vertex A as a starting point and push A into the stack. So here I marked it, means it is visited. Then what is the next step? I need to find the adjacent vertices. Here the adjacent vertices to A is B, D, E. Among these three, we'll choose one. And we'll push into stack. So visit any adjacent vertex A which is not visited. I chosen B. Then what we need to do? Push. I pushed into stack. Next, visit any adjacent vertices to B. For B, adjacent vertices are C, E, A. 3 are there, but A is visited already. So there is a chance you can take either C or E. So I kept C as visited. So C I pushed onto stack. Next, we'll repeat the same process. We'll found the adjacent vertices to C. Adjacent vertices to C is E, F, G. Among these three, we can choose any one. So I choose E. E is a visited. And I pushed on E into stack. Next, I need to find the adjacent vertices to E. So adjacent vertices to E is D, A, B, C, E. So adjacent vertices to E are D, A, B, C, F. Among these all things, we need to choose one. But A is already visited, B is already visited, C is already visited. So we have chance to choose either D or F. I chosen D. I pushed the value D into stack and marked as a visited. Next, we need to find the adjacent vertices to D. Adjacent vertices to D are A, E, but both are visited. So there is no new vertex to the visited from D. So use backtracking. We'll come back. Back means we'll reach to E. Again, we found adjacent vertices D, A, B, C, F. All are visited except F. So we choose F and we push F into stack. Next, again we'll repeat the same process. Adjacent vertices to F are C, E, G. We found G. We'll take G and marked as a visited. Next, there is no adjacent vertices to G, means already all are visited. Then we'll go with backtracking. So backtracking means we'll come back to F. Again, we'll repeat the same process. F, there is no adjacent vertices, means all are visited. Then we go with back. Back means E. So again, there is no already visited, though we go back C. Next, we don't have, then we'll go back to B. Next, we don't have, back to A. So all the, and we popped elements, all vertices are visited. So then there is no elements in stack. So once you applied backtracking, so we need to pop the elements. So this is spanning tree which we apply. So I visited A to B, B to C, C to E, E to D, then E to F, and F to G. So this is a spanning tree. Okay, this is about DFS. So in DFS, what we are going to do, just we'll start from one vertex and we'll find the adjacent vertices to that vertex. Among these all adjacent vertices, we'll pick one vertex and then we'll make it as a visited. Whatever the vertices we visited, we'll push it into stack. And at the time of backtracking, we pop the elements. Okay, so this is finally we got. This is about DFS. Here we are using stack. Next one is BFS, breadth first search. Here it is also the same way of traveling, but it is a very easy method when compared with DFS. Here we are using Q. In previous example, so we didn't visited all the adjacent vertices at a time. We visited one by one. But here we will visit all the adjacent vertices at a time. Okay, that's the difference between BFS and DFS. So define the Q of size total number of vertices. Step 2 is select any vertex as a starting point to travel and visit that vertex and insert it into the queue. Visit all the adjacent vertices. Visit all the adjacent vertices of the vertex which is at front of the queue and which is not visited and insert them into the queue. So we are not inserting one by one. We are visiting all the adjacent vertices. When there is no new vertex to be visited from the vertex at front of the queue, then delete that vertex from the queue. And then repeat step 3 and step 4. When the queue becomes empty, then produce the final spanning tree by removing unused edges from the graph. So here also it will generate spanning tree. Okay. So what are the applications to which are generating the spanning tree? Sometimes they may ask. So others the graph searching methods are generating which type of tree? We say that spanning tree. Here is an example. The same example is there. So we selected the vertex A as the starting, and what are the adjacent vertices to vertex A? B, E, D. All will visit one time. B, D, E, and we kept. And this is completed. That's why we popped. We removed. Next, visit all the adjacent vertices of D, which are not visited. So D adjacent vertices are A, B, E, A, B, E. We don't have, then we'll remove that one. Again, we found adjacent vertices to E. So E వచ్చేసి it comes to B, A, D, C, F. So these are visited and CF are not visited. So we'll add CF. Okay. So next, C adjacent vertices. So we have G, F, E, B. G is not visited, so then we'll add. And finally, G is don't have any adjacent vertices which is not visited. Then we'll remove that one also. So finally, we'll got this spanning tree. Okay. So hope you understood the concept. If you have any doubts, feel free to ask me. Okay, and do practice on this one. Okay. So this is about tree traveling methods. Next, we'll discuss about applications of graph structure. This we'll discuss on next class, and this is also one of the most important concepts in graph. Okay, thank you.